We will not allow you to take away our dignity.
Dude, just a little bit of labor action, and all of a sudden you got Bryan Cranston being Lenin, talking like Lenin. Let's hear from Andrew Schultz, who has some thoughts on the Hollywood strike. One, the real issue is that actors and writers want fair residual payments from the streamers. In order to define what is fair, the streamers will need to share how many people are actually watching their show. And here lies the problem. Yeah. My suspicion is that the streamers are refusing to share the viewership numbers, not because they're being cheap, but yeah, it's because they're being cheap. Netflix is being cheap when they're like, nah, that I want to make sure that I can underpay all aspects of production, and if they have an understanding of how much revenue is generating single-handedly, then they're going to want more residuals. They're going to want more pay. They're going to want a greater share of the profits, and that would hurt us. If most of these streamers are losing money in an effort to gain market share, the only justification for spending is their stock price being high. Once that stock price tanks with the real viewership numbers, the streamers will have to cut back on spending, which means way less shows will be greenlit and the budget for those shows will be severely reduced, which means way less acting gigs and writing gigs. So essentially, if the actors, what? This is the most like crypto bro coded take I've ever seen on this situation.
I think Hasan Piker would consider himself a leftist, is my understanding.
Yeah, and I would say he's pretty extreme in his...
Yeah, leftist, yeah.
But mostly on like financial and like fiscal policy.
Yeah, I'm
also
extreme.
Like, I would say racial and
I think he's
gender
progressive,
policies.
but I don't think he's like so like socially radical on those ideas. Like I think like he would come on here and like joke with us.
I think he would joke, yeah, but I also think that he like believes very strongly about all those things, and there's no wiggle room on his beliefs whatsoever.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder what he means by
I'm
that.
trying to think of like Sam Cedar or something. Like would consider themselves like a leftist.
I don't know.
Destiny might be a leftist.
That's the guy that went on PBD's podcast, right? Sam Cedar?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Whereas
Like,
yeah. And so that's the way I understand it.
Like I don't think that Hasan would be tolerant of beliefs that even if they're like, for example, someone's religious beliefs, if he found them intolerant. And that's, I think, leftist.
Yeah.
So if there were some Muslim beliefs or there's some Christian beliefs that went against some of his leftist beliefs, I think he'd be like, yeah, you got to change that. Your religion is antiquated. It's some goofy shit you believe in. You got to get that the fuck out of here. Where I think a liberal, if they're actually being a liberal, they'd be like, yeah, I don't agree with you, but I'm open to your different lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's silly. Like the way I recognize it, I mean, he's not wrong. Yeah. And it's not even just Christianity, it's Islam too. Like if someone is trying to impose their backwards, antiquated ass ideals by weaponizing their religion, you know, I'm not gonna let it slide. I will definitely criticize it. The strike will essentially force the streamers to hire less actors and directors, so they're striking themselves out of her work. Just a hunch, though. Okay. Yeah, if the only way your business can function is through fraud and also through severely underpaying your workforce, then your business probably shouldn't exist. Like, that's a hunch. It's not like they're going to stop making movies. You know what I mean? That's not going to stop. They've done it for hundreds of years. Very weird. Speaking of union victories, we're on the verge of winning hours for 5,000 workers around the country. Happy birthday, and thank you for inspiring me to go out there and start this. TV Commercial Production Workers Group on track to form national union with IATSE. The group, titled Stanwood Production, comprised of an estimated 5,000 workers. Yeah, dude, this is fire. A majority of which have signaled their support for joining the crew union, a result confirmed by a third-party arbitrator. I mean, listening to actors this morning talk about how much money used to be made in the industry for certain aspects, for certain productions that they were involved in, versus what they do now for residuals in the streamer era is bananas. It is actually bananas. Bryan Cranston going off delivers a rousing speech addressed to Bob Iger at the SAG-AFTRA rally at Times Square. I'm finding out that a lot of these actor motherfuckers live in New York instead of Los Angeles, by the way. All right, let's do it. Hot labor summer. Strikes are upon us. They're happening all around.
Iger. I know, sir, that you look through things through a different lens. We don't expect you to understand who we are, but we ask you to hear us, and beyond that, to listen to us. Woo! When we tell you we will not be having our jobs taken away and giving to robots. We will not have you take away our right to work and earn a decent living. And lastly, and most importantly, We will not allow you to take away our dignity. We are you.
Motherfuckers out here talking like Lenin. Dude, just a little bit of labor action and all of a sudden you got Bryan Cranston being Lenin, talking like Lenin. Have you seen the new unhinged Trump clip that dropped today? You will not believe how he says Lenin.
Anyone ever hear of Lenin? You know, Lenin. Lenin. Did anyone ever hear of Lenin? He said the vote counter is far more important than the candidate. Has anyone ever heard that's Lenin? Lenin, as they say.
Who says that? You do. God, he's so good. He's so good. He's so back. Lenin, as they say. No one says that. Lenin, he had a lot of words about Dominion. Also, I thought that was falsely attributed to Stalin, not Lenin. Oh, I didn't realize that was Lenin, not Stalin. He's so good. He's so back. I gotta run it again.
You know, Lenin. Lenin, did anyone ever hear of Lenin? He said Lenin. Lenin, as they say in Russia.
It's technically closer to correct than Lenin, as Americans say it. Lenin. Lenin, as they say in Russia. Oh, he's so good. He's so good. Russia. I call him Lenin. Anyway, let's get back. Character development from meth manufacturer to union advocate is crazy. So here's one thing I gotta mention for all of you, okay? Remember, he doesn't have to do this at all. The Rock doesn't have to dump fucking 7 figures into the SAG-AFTRA strike fund. Those guys have already made it. They already have enough money. They don't care about the $26,000 cutoff for healthcare plans. Like, they're good. They got theirs. They're so good. The reason why they're putting their brand out there, putting their name out there, putting their fucking voice out there, is because they recognize how much help they got from their fucking unions early on, okay? That's it. So whenever people look at these guys and go, this guy's worth $10 million, what the fuck's he talking about? What does he want, 11 million? Like, you're failing to understand the point, okay? They are members of the union. They recognize the importance of the union. They understand that originally the union was there to help them out, okay? And they recognize now that there are people who need help in the same predicaments that they're in, okay?
Through and through, all the way to the end. Thank you. God bless you. Stay together. We will win this fight. God bless you. Tiger.
So-called leftists on Twitter were shitting on the millionaire actors for being on the picket line. Hey, Demos, that's a good thing. Dude. Those people are fucking stupid, okay? Just because someone masks themselves, surrounds themselves with like leftist aesthetic, does not change the reality that they are fucking idiots, okay? These guys are stupid as fuck. I feel like the guy that played Trumbo would be a socialist for sure the whole movie. I don't think any of these guys are actually socialists. They're not. They might even have a distaste for the term socialism. It doesn't matter to me, okay? It does not matter to me at all. Unions are not socialism. They're unionism. It's trade unionism. It's a separate thing, okay? But they're still very good. It brings you closer, or it at least puts you at the table when the means of production are being divided, okay? To a certain degree. Doesn't mean that it's socialism at all. It's not socialism. A lot of union members in America probably might not even like socialism. Doesn't matter to me anyway. I don't give a fuck. Unions are not about left or right. Unions are about what's fair, okay? Always remember that. Mara Wilson put it really well in regards to Cranston and why he might want to speak here. This is a man who worked 20 years before becoming a series regular, nearly 30 before becoming a household name. He did regional theater, voiceover for commercials, and anime dubbing in the meantime. He knows what it's like to be a working actor. Listen to him. Why do people just believe these people are leftists just because they say it in their bio? No, I think a lot of people are like, well-intentioned leftists even, but they're just like fucking stupid. We mistake our supposed intellectual allies as like intelligent people because we think we are intelligent people. Okay, that's it. Oh, dude, Dick Serto just ripping Ken Klippenstein's coverage. That's awesome. Netflix offering a salary for $900,000 a year job listing for an AI product manager while the average actor makes less than $26,000 a year. It's more than the average. Only 13% of the SAG-AFTRA union is clearing the $26,000 healthcare coverage line, okay? That is entirely the fault of the studios. Entirely the fault of the studios. As they say...